The last cry in the dark. The planet was dead. Black smoke rose into the sky. Fires burned in the distance. Metal pieces of ships and machines were everywhere. A big battle had happened here, and no one had one dot in the middle of this broken place. Under a piece of a crashed spaceship, something moved. Small hands, big eyes. It was a little alien girl, hiding in the shadows. She was shaking. Her skin was pale blue, and her long black hair was covered in dust and blood. She was alone. Her people were gone. Her family gone. Everyone had died when the monsters came, but she had survived. She didn't know why the monsters hadn't killed her. Maybe they didn't see her. Maybe they didn't care. Or maybe they wanted her to suffer. The ground shook slightly. The girl held her breath. Footsteps. Big ones. Not human. Not her kind. These were the monsters. They were hunting again. She pressed her body deeper into the broken metal. Her fingers covered her mouth. One sound, and they would find her. The monster passed by slowly. Its legs were like metal claws. Its skin was black and hard, like stone. It had no eyes, only a strange red light where a face should be. She waited. 10 seconds, then 20. Silence. The monster had gone. Her body relaxed a little, but her eyes were still wet with tears. She was too young to understand war, too young to understand death, but she knew one thing: she didn't want to be here anymore. Then she heard something new. Crash. Far away, something fell from the sky. It hit the ground hard, shaking the air around her. She peeked out from her hiding place. Smoke rose from the forest. Another ship? Another monster? She had to know. She moved carefully, slowly. Her feet were bare and quiet on the cold ground. She walked toward the smoke, using the trees for cover. Her heart beat fast. Was it hope or fear? She reached the crash site. It wasn't a monster ship. It was small. A pod. An escape pod. It was human. The door of the pod opened with a soft hiss. Steam came out. Then a figure stumbled out, tall, armored, helmet cracked, human. He fell to his knees. Blood dripped from his arm. He looked around, confused, coughing hard. The girl froze behind a tree. She had never seen a human this close. She had only heard stories, some good, some bad. Some said humans were kind. Some said they were killers. Which one was this? The man pulled off his helmet. His face was tired, dirty. A cut ran down his cheek, but his eyes were sharp. Still alive, still fighting. He pulled out a small device from his belt, pressed a few buttons. Nothing. Damn thing's broken, he whispered. The girl didn't move, didn't make a sound, but her breath was shaking. Her legs wanted to run, then snap. A twig broke under her foot. The man turned quickly, pointing his weapon. She gasped. Their eyes met. Silence. The man stared. His weapon slowly lowered. What the hell? He didn't shoot. He didn't move closer. She stood still. Her big, glowing eyes stared back at him. You're just a kid, he said softly. She didn't understand his words, but his tone wasn't angry. Then roar. A loud sound echoed from the trees. The monsters had heard them. The man jumped into action. Get down, he shouted, pointing to the ground. The girl dropped to the dirt. The man took cover behind a rock and aimed his weapon from the trees. The monsters came running, fast, sharp, hungry. The man fired. Bang, bang, bang. 3 monsters dropped. 2 more came. The girl covered her ears, shaking. The ground shook. The air smelled like fire and blood. The man kept shooting, breathing heavy. Stay down, kid. Stay down. He was out of bullets. The last monster ran toward him, screaming. The man picked up a metal rod from the ground. Too slow. The monster jumped, but before it could land, zap. A flash of blue light hit the monster. The girl stood behind it, her hand glowing. The monster fell, smoking. The man looked at her, shocked. The girl fell to her knees, tired. Her eyes rolled back. He ran to her and caught her before she hit the ground. Okay, he whispered, holding her carefully. Okay, you're not just a kid. He looked around. No more monsters for now. He pulled her close and whispered again. We'll get through this, little one. You're safe with me. The Fire still burned in the distance. The night was still full of danger, but for the first time, the girl was not alone, and neither was he. Trust is a dangerous. Gameth forest was quiet again. Smoke from the dead monsters floated into the cold air. The trees stood still like they were afraid to move. Everything felt frozen, except for the two survivors. Sergeant Cole held the small alien girl in his arms. She had saved him. Somehow, she used energy from her hands. It burned the monster like fire from the gods. But now, her eyes were closed. Her body was cold. Too cold. "Hey," Cole whispered, tapping her cheek. "Hey, stay with me. Don't give up on me now." She didn't answer. He checked her pulse. Weak. But there, Cole looked around. They couldn't stay here. More of those things would come, and he didn't have enough bullets left to fight another wave. He stood up, carrying her carefully. She weighed almost nothing, like a scared bird. He walked deeper into the forest. 1,000 questions filled his mind. Who was this girl? What kind of power did she have? Why were those monsters after her? And the biggest question, why did he care so much already? A hidden place. Cole found a cave at the base of a rocky hill. The entrance was narrow and hidden behind thick vines. He stepped inside, checked for danger, and laid the girl down on a flat rock. She was still unconscious. Cole made a small fire using pieces of broken tech and dry wood. He warmed her hands and covered her with part of his torn jacket. Then he sat down beside her. He was tired. His side ached. His mind screamed for rest. But his eyes stayed on her. She was the only sign of life on this cursed planet. After a while, she moved. A small sound escaped her lips, a whimper. Cole leaned closer. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now." She opened her eyes slowly. The glowing light in them had faded. Now they looked human. She looked at him. Her body tensed. She tried to crawl away. "No, no, no. It's okay," he said quickly, showing his empty hands. "I'm not gonna hurt you." She didn't understand the words, but his tone was calm, gentle. She stopped, sat against the wall. Her hands gripped her knees tightly. Cole took out a ration bar and unwrapped it. "Here, food." He broke it in half and put one piece in front of her. Then he ate the other himself, showing it was safe. She watched him carefully. Then slowly, she picked it up, sniffed it, took a small bite. Her eyes widened. "Yeah, I know. Not bad for emergency food, huh?" Cole smiled. She didn't smile back, but she ate the rest quickly. He gave her water next. She drank it like she hadn't had a drop in days. "All right," Cole said, rubbing his face. "You're not just a lost kid, are you?" She tilted her head, like she was trying to understand. He pointed to himself. "Cole." She just stared. He pointed again. "Cole, that's me." Then he pointed at her. "You?" She looked confused. Then, slowly, she touched her chest. "Aya," she whispered. Cole's eyes lit up. "Aya, okay, Aya. That's a nice name," she repeated softly. "Cole, Aya." It was the first moment of peace in days. But peace never lasted here. The noise outside the cave. Something moved. Cole heard it instantly. He stood up, weapon ready. "Stay back," he whispered to Aya. She crawled behind a rock and watched. The noise came again, a clicking, scraping sound. Something sniffing the air. Then silence. Cole aimed toward the entrance. Sweat rolled down his face. Then a voice. Not human, not a monster. A radio transmission. It crackled through the air. "Subject is alive. Child located. Do not engage. Wait for extraction." Cole froze. The voice wasn't coming from his radio. It came from one of the monsters outside the cave. Aya's eyes widened. She mouthed something silently. She was scared. Very scared. Cole's mind raced. The monsters had radios? Intelligence? They weren't just animals, they were organized. And worse, they were looking for Aya. Why? What was she? He motioned to her, "Stay quiet. Stay still." The shadow passed by the cave. Then another. Heavy breathing. Footsteps. But they didn't come in. After 10 long minutes, the sounds faded. Cole finally exhaled. He turned back to Aya. Her hands were shaking again. She was terrified. He sat next to her and spoke softly. "Hey, it's okay. We're not done yet. Then he looked at his weapon. Almost empty. He needed supplies. He needed answers, and deep down, he knew they needed each other. Ensign Twistcole reached into a pocket, pulling out a cracked datapad from the crash. The screen flickered but showed one image, a group of alien children. Aya was in the center. Next to her, a line of text in alien language, and one sentence in human letters. Project Starchild, if found, protect at all costs. Cole blinked. What the hell did I just walk into? He whispered. Outside the cave, the sky rumbled. The hunt was far from over. Run like health air was too quiet. That kind of quiet that isn't peaceful. It's dangerous. It's the kind that makes your instincts scream. Sergeant Cole didn't sleep. Aya did, curled up beside the fire, holding his torn jacket like it was a safety blanket. But even in sleep, her tiny body shook. Cole watched the entrance of the cave. He didn't blink much. He knew something was out there, something that didn't want them alive. His grip on the rifle was tight. Only 2 bullets left. Just 2. He checked the cracked datapad again. The message glowed faintly. Project Starchild, if found, protect at all costs. He didn't know what Starchild meant, but he knew one thing. It was about Aya, and it was important enough to make monsters speak like soldiers. That meant they wouldn't stop hunting her, and that meant they had to run. Morning, if you could call it that. The sky above the forest was a dull red. Not sunrise, just the burning wreckage of yesterday still glowing in the clouds. Cole shook Aya gently. Time to go, he whispered. She opened her eyes, confused, tired, scared, but she nodded. She trusted him now. Maybe not fully, but enough. Cole packed what little gear he had. Water tube, knife, 1 flare, half a ration bar, and his busted communicator. Can you walk? He asked. She stood slowly, wobbled, then nodded again. Good girl, he said, giving her a quick smile. Then something screamed in the distance. It was no animal. It was a call. A hunt call. Aya flinched. Cole's hand went straight to his rifle. Time's up, he muttered. Let's move. The chase begins. They ran through the forest fast but careful. The ground was covered in ash, vines, and bones. Every few minutes, Cole stopped and listened. Sometimes he heard breathing. Sometimes he heard clicks. Once he heard something laugh. Not a human laugh. Not a happy laugh. A hungry laugh. They reached an old crash site, a twisted metal skeleton of what used to be a scout ship. The cockpit was broken, but there were scattered crates, wires, and something better, a broken energy rifle. Cole grabbed it, flipped it open, and smiled. Still got juice. He slung it across his shoulder. Now, he had more firepower, but not enough. Suddenly I froze. She looked to the side, eyes wide. Then she screamed. Cole turned just in time to see something crawl out of the tree's long legs. Black armor, sharp teeth dripping with acid. A monster. And not alone. 2 more followed, crawling like spiders, eyes glowing red. Cole grabbed Aya and yelled, "Run!" They ran hard. The forest turned into a blur. Behind them, the monsters roared and smashed through the trees. Cole dodged branches, leaped over logs, slid under low rocks. Aya followed closely, small and fast, her breathing fast and sharp. Then a cliff, too high to jump. No time to go around. Hold on, Cole yelled. He pulled a rope from his belt, tied it to a cracked tree trunk, and lowered it fast. Go down. Aya didn't argue. She grabbed the rope and started climbing down. The monsters got closer. Cole shot once. 1 monster dropped. The other 2 roared louder. Aya was halfway down. Cole tied the rope to his belt, turned, and fired the last shot. Click, empty. The monster lunged. Cole kicked it in the jaw and jumped. The rope yanked hard, burning his hands. He slid down fast, grabbed Aya, and they hit the ground. Above them, the monster leapt. Boom. A rock fell from the cliff edge, crushing it. They didn't wait to watch it die. They ran. The bunker. After an hour of hiding, crawling, and sneaking, they found something strange. An old door, half buried in the dirt. Cole brushed off the vines. A keypad blinked red. Alien symbols glowed. I stepped forward. She touched the keypad. It turned blue. The door opened. Cole looked at her. Okay, now I'm officially creeped out. They entered. Inside was a dark room. Lights flickered on as they walked. It was some kind of lab. Ancient, dusty, but still running. In the center was a chair. Strange text surrounded it. Glowing wires. Symbols on the wall. Aya stared at it. Then she whispered one word. Home. Cole stepped back. What? She looked at him with those glowing eyes, and for the first time, she spoke a full sentence, slow, broken English. They made me. Here. The ending twist. Cole backed away. This wasn't just a lab. It was a birthplace. This was where she was created. Not born. Created. Oh, wasn't just some random alien girl. She was designed, engineered, built for a purpose. And now the monsters. No, the soldiers were coming to take her back. The lights in the lab flickered again, and then the communicator on Cole's belt beeped. A human voice came through. Sergeant Cole, this is command. We have eyes on your location. Do not trust the girl. She is dangerous. Repeat. Do not protect the subject. Cole stared at Aya. She stared back. And then, outside the bunker, something began to pound on the door. Hard. Rhythmic. Getting faster. They were out of time. We fight. Dirtithe bunker door was shaking. Louder. Faster. Something. No. Many somethings were trying to break in. Cole grabbed Aya and pulled her behind a stack of crates. His heart pounded like a war drum. Not because of fear. Because he had made a choice. He wasn't giving her up. Not to the monsters. Not to his own command. Not to anyone. Preparing for war, all right. He whispered, opening his pack. We can't run forever. Let's give these freaks a surprise. Aya tilted her head. Cole pointed at the crates. Inside were broken parts, wires, batteries, alien tech, metal spikes, weapons. Maybe he started building a trap here, a tripwire there, a small explosive made from a fuel cell, and some chewing gum. Yeah, soldier-grade gum has more uses than fresh breath. I watched carefully. Then she reached out and adjusted a wire. It glowed stronger. Cole raised his eyebrows. You're handy. She smiled just a little. Then she touched a metal ball and closed her eyes. It floated. What the hell? Cole muttered. She opened her eyes. Mind. Push. Her voice was slow but clear. You have powers? He asked. She nodded. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You shoot, she said, smirking. Cole laughed for the first time in days. Fair enough. The calm. Before the storm, they had 10 minutes. Maybe less. Cole set up defenses, spike traps, energy mines, electrified wires. He wasn't sure if it would stop them, but it would slow them. He and Aya sat behind a control panel, breathing heavy. You okay? He asked her. She nodded. But her eyes were glassy. You're scared, he said softly. She looked at him. You scared? He thought for a moment. Yeah, I'm terrified. But I've got a job. Keep you alive. She blinked. Why? That question hit harder than a grenade. Why? He should have left her. Should have followed orders. But something inside him, the human part, refused. Because, he said finally, you're not just a mission. You're a person, and I don't leave people behind. She didn't say anything. But she moved a little closer to him. That was enough. The attack boom. The bunker door exploded inward. Metal flew across the room. Cole grabbed his rifle. Here we go. The monsters came in fast, sharp, screaming. But they didn't know what was waiting. Snap. The first one hit a tripwire. Zap. Roasted like space bacon. The second jumped over the trap. But Aya's floating orb hit it mid-air. Bang. Cole fired, no hesitation. He shot one in the face. Another stepped forward and fell into a spike pit. They were coming hard, but they were bleeding now. The monster with a voice-a-thon. One stepped forward. It didn't roar. It spoke. Not in growls. In English. Give us the child. Cole aimed his rifle. Not happening. She is property of the collective. Her code belongs to us. Step aside, human. Cole didn't move. You think I care who she belongs to? The monster's head tilted. You are protecting a weapon. She's a kid. She will destroy you. No, Cole said. stepping in front of Aya. She'll destroy you. The turning point monster lunged. Too fast. Too strong. It knocked Cole to the floor. Gun out of reach. Claws raised. Aya screamed and her hands glowed blue. The creature turned toward her. She threw both hands forward. A blast of pure energy erupted from her body, a wave of light and force. It hit the monster like a train. Crash. The walls cracked. Wires burst into sparks. The monster flew backward and smashed into the far wall. Dead. Cole sat up, blinking. His ears were ringing. I fell to her knees. Weak, pale, he crawled to her. Hey, stay with me. She looked at him, eyes glowing faintly. Not weapon, she whispered. Me, he nodded. Damn right you are. The message suddenly, the control panel behind them lit up. A voice came through. Robotic. Cold. Starchild system online. Activating defense protocols. Cole turned. What did you do? I didn't answer. The lights turned red. A map showed. On the screen, the entire planet. Dozens of red dots moving, surrounding, closing in. They weren't done. This was just a small team. The real army was coming. And now? They knew exactly where she was. Cole stared at the screen. Then looked at okay, he said. Now, we really run. Cole grabbed her hand. They ran. Through the back tunnel of the bunker. Alarms blaring behind them. Outside, the sky burned red. Ships were descending, and deep beneath the planet's surface, something ancient began to wake. She's not what she seems. Night sky was red, but not from sunset, from fire. Ships fell from the clouds like daggers. Long black shapes, too smooth to be human, too organized to be wild. Cole and Aya ran across the rocky hills, breathing hard, their feet pounding the cracked ground. Behind them, the bunker exploded in a ball of flame. That wasn't a rescue. It was a cleanup. They weren't trying to recover Aya. They were trying to erase her. The forest of bones. They found shelter in a new place, not a cave, not a bunker. This was something older, a deep valley filled with the skeletal remains of creatures long dead. Huge bones stretched into the sky like giant claws. Some were fossilized. Others still had pieces of armor fused into their flesh. Cole looked around. What the hell happened here? Aya stepped slowly, her eyes wide. She recognized this place. This was a battle? A war zone? Cole asked. No, she whispered. A testing ground. The Arcavedeep inside the valley, hidden beneath a ribcage the size of a spaceship. They found it. A black stone door. Aya touched it. It opened. Inside, lightless corridors, symbols carved into walls, glowing with pale blue light. The air was warm and still. It was a place untouched by time. Where are we? Cole asked. I walked ahead. She was no longer scared. This place knew her. The lights turned on as she passed. She led him to a large chamber, circular, ancient, full of floating holograms and data screens. One glowed in human language. Project Starchild Subject 001. Hybrid prototype. Primary function, key to the vault. Cole stepped back. Hybrid? Aya turned to him, her voice soft. I was made, not born. She pointed to a floating image. It showed DNA strands twisting, half alien, half something else. Wait a second. That's human, Cole muttered. Aya nodded. My mind. Alien, but body. Part human. Cole stared at her. You're one of us. Part of me, she said. Enough to be hated by both. The Truth Archive showed it all. Thousands of years ago, an ancient alien race discovered human DNA, curious, chaotic, but full of potential. So they started a project. They mixed it with their own advanced genes. They wanted to create a living key, something that could access lost technology locked deep beneath worlds. Weapons, knowledge, secrets. They created her, Starchild. But something went wrong. She was too powerful, too unpredictable. Her powers were connected to emotions: joy, pain, fear, love. Something they couldn't control. So they shut the project down and tried to kill her, but she escaped, crash-landed, alone, scared, until she found one thing they hadn't planned for, a human who gave a damn. the message from the deadened last recording. Played, a hologram of an old alien scientist, her face cracked and tired. If you are seeing this, then she has survived. Starchild is the last hope. The vault must never fall into the wrong hands. Protect her, or this galaxy dies screaming. The hologram faded. Cole stood there, stunned. Aya, why didn't you tell me? I didn't remember. Until now, she said. They made me forget. He shook his head. So, what's in the vault? She looked up. Power, enough to kill planets, or heal them, and they wanted to kill. Aya nodded. The betrayal. Suddenly Cole's communicator buzzed again. Command, Sergeant Cole. Final warning. Eliminate the subject. Do not enter the vault. Cole slowly lifted the device. His thumb hovered over the button, then he crushed it under his boot. No, from the shadows. A voice spoke. One Cole knew well. Then I'll do it myself. Out stepped Captain Rise, his old squad leader, scarred, cold, and aiming a gun at Aya. Cole aimed his weapon. Stand down. Rise shook his head. You don't get it, Cole. She's not a girl. She's a bomb with legs. She's a weapon with a face. She's a kid, Cole growled. And we made her. Rise raised his gun. Exactly. And now, we unmake her. Bang. The shot echoed. Aya screamed. The choice, but the bullet didn't hit her. Cole had stepped in the way. Blood poured from his side. Rise froze. You idiot. Cole dropped to one knee, still pointing his gun. You wanna get to her? You go through me. Aya's hands started to glow again. But this time, they glowed red. She wasn't scared anymore. She was angry. The walls shook. The air snapped with electricity. Cole looked at her. Don't lose yourself. She turned her head. Tears in her eyes. I don't want to be a weapon. Then be something better, he whispered. Be you. She lowered her hands, and for the first time, she controlled it. The red glow faded. Just a soft pulse remained. Calm. Blue. Rise backed away. You've made a huge mistake. Cole smiled, blood on his teeth. Yeah, I tend to do that. Rise vanished into the shadows, but he'd be back, with an army. The vault awakened behind them, but the wall cracked. The floor lit up. A massive stone gate opened. Inside was light swirling, ancient, alive. It wasn't just power. It was conscious. It had been waiting for the Starchild to return. Aya stepped forward. The light wrapped around her. Then she turned back to Cole. Will you come with me? She asked. He smiled through the pain. You're not getting rid of me that easy, kid. They walked into the vault together. As the world above began to shake. One soldier against the Stars vault was alive. The walls pulsed with ancient energy, breathing light like a heartbeat. The air hummed, and the floor beneath Cole and Aya shifted, sensing them, measuring them. Sergeant Cole leaned against the glowing wall, blood soaking his side. You sure this thing doesn't come with the first aid kit? Aya placed her small hand on his wound. Her eyes glowed faintly blue. The pain faded. Not all of it, but enough to move. Neat trick, Cole muttered. Remind me never to play hide and seek with you. Aya smiled, but only for a second, because outside, the ground shook, and they were coming. The siege begins above the vault. The skies turned black. Dropships cut through the clouds like knives. Engines screamed. Soldiers in silver armor descended from the sky. Not monsters this time. Humans. Command had sent everything. This wasn't a rescue. It was a containment operation. Orders? Eliminate the Starchild. Secure the vault. Kill anything in the way. Cole's old unit led the charge. And at the front, Captain Rise. Inside the vault, Cole walked beside Aya through the vault's core, a swirling column of light surrounded by platforms and machines too advanced to understand. Symbols floated in the air. Some responded to Aya's presence. Some shied away. This thing doesn't just store energy, Cole said. It's thinking. Aya nodded. It remembers. All of it. Cole looked around. And what happens if they get in? Aya turned toward him. They don't. Building the last stand, Cole began setting up a defense inside the vault's upper hall. He rigged together alien weapons, force fields, and a few nasty surprises with leftover plasma batteries. all while bleeding and running on half a ration bar and caffeine gum. He didn't care. If they were going to take her, they'd have to walk over his charred corpse to do it. You don't have to fight, Aya said softly. Cole shook his head. That's what people said to me before my first mission too. Look where that got me. I walked up to him. If I go to them, they'll stop. He turned to her, his voice suddenly sharp. No, that's not peace. That's surrender. But you'll die. Maybe, he said, but I'll die standing. The invasion doors of the vault trembled. Boom, boom, boom. Then silence. A small, flying drone entered the chamber. Hovering. It projected a hologram of Captain Rise. Cole, he said calmly, open the vault. Hand over the girl. Walk away. Cole raised his rifle and fired. Boom. The drone exploded. Behind the smoke, the enemy poured in. The battle had begun. One soldier. Cole fought like hell. Plasma shots flew. Walls cracked. He set off traps. Dropped soldiers with sniper blasts. Used alien tech like it was made for him. They kept coming. He kept fighting. One soldier against dozens. His body gave out, but his mind didn't. Every time he fell, he got back up. Bleeding, screaming, fighting, and through it all Aya stayed behind the core. One soldier got through. Young recruit, barely 20, gun shaking in his hands. He aimed at her. Cole saw it too far to stop it, but Aya didn't run. She walked toward the soldier and raised a hand. I'm not your enemy, she said. The boy froze. Her power glowed, and then faded. She didn't attack. She reached out and touched his hand. His weapon dropped. He turned, confused, and ran. Face to face. Rise was left now, covered in ash, rage in his eyes, gun in his hand. He pointed it at Aya. She's not human, Cole. She's not one of us. Cole stepped between them. Maybe she's something better. Rise fired, but Cole was faster. He tackled him. They crashed to the floor. Fists, blood, broken ribs, screams, then silence. Rise was down, breathing, but broken. Cole stood, barely. He turned to Aya. You okay? She nodded, but something changed in her eyes. The vault responded. It began to open. A final chamber. White light, energy like a sun. The front side was a control panel, old, silent, until Aya touched it. Then it spoke. A voice in all languages. Soft, cold. Starchild recognized. System restart authorized. Choose path, defense or destruction. Cole stepped back. Wait. What? Aya looked at the panel. She could wipe them all out. The fleet, the soldiers, everyone who ever wanted to use her, with one word. But she didn't speak. She turned to Cole. What should I do? Cole shook his head. That's not my choice. You're not a weapon. You're not a tool. You're you. Make them see it. She looked down and chose defense. The vault lit up. A wave of energy pulsed through the air. Every ship in orbit lost power. Weapons shut down. Engines failed. And O1 died. But no one could fight. For the first time in centuries, the planet was quiet. After Mathea stepped out of the vault, with Cole beside her, the sky was blue again. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Some kneeled. Some just stared. The war was over, not because of firepower, but because one girl refused to be a weapon. HFY humanity for the Winth war had stopped. Not with more guns. Not with death. But with one word. Defense. And, for the first time since the stars learned to scream, a war ended because someone refused to fight. But peace is fragile, especially when truth still hides in shadows. A planet reborn. The sky over the battlefield was clear. Ships once meant for destruction now floated powerless above. Soldiers walked among ancient ruins, stunned and unarmed. Even the monsters, the bioengineered hunters from earlier, had vanished like ghosts. Cole stood at the mouth of the vault, leaning heavily on a steel rod as a makeshift crutch. His side was bandaged in alien cloth. He looked half dead, maybe worse, but his eyes, sharp, Steady, alive, Aya stood beside him, glowing faintly, calm, stronger than she had ever been. The vault had changed her into a god, but into someone complete. Not just Starchild. Not just alien or human. She was something new. The galaxy responds from orbit, broadcast screamed through every frequency. What happened? Why did the fleet go dark? Is the Starchild in control? The answer came not from a weapon, but from a child's voice. Aya stood before a communicator, hands folded. I am not your tool, she said. I am not your enemy. I am hope, and I choose to live. Her message was heard across 12 systems, and in every one, something changed. A pause. A rethink. A spark of curiosity. Where only fear had been, betrayals, trials, and forgiven Escol was taken back to Earth. Not in chains, but not in celebration either. He stood trial for disobeying direct orders, aiding a hostile, and compromising military protocol. They brought in admirals, strategists, politicians who had never seen battle, but had plenty to say. But when Cole took the stand, he said only one thing. I protected a life. One life. A small one, but I'd do it again. Then he stepped down. No fear. No apology. The room was silent, until a young officer, seated in the back, stood and saluted. One by one, others followed. They didn't all agree with him, but they respected him, because he had done the one thing soldiers are trained to do. But leaders often forget: protect the innocent. Cole was cleared of all charges. Aya's Coecia didn't return to the vault. She didn't build a throne or start a war. Instead, she disappeared. For a while, rumors spread that she was helping rebuild war-torn worlds, that she was learning about every culture, that she wanted to understand the very people who once tried to erase Herbert Cole. He always knew where to find her. In the quiet corners of forgotten planets. She would leave him signs: a hand-drawn flower on a stone, a small data chip filled with photos from alien cities, and one day, a letter, just 5 words: I found my place. Thank you. Years passed. Cole retired from the military. He grew older, but not slower. Still had scars, still had nightmares. But when the younger recruits asked him what really happened on that alien world, he would just smile and say, I met someone who reminded me what being human should mean. They always thought he was talking about a fellow soldier. He wasn't. He was talking about her. The one who cried alone in the dark. The one they tried to erase. The one who chose kindness when the universe offered her power. The final message. Last scene. A peaceful world. Quiet. Cole sits under a strange tree, watching the stars. A small ship descends, sleek, quiet. Aya steps out. Older now. Taller, stronger, but still her. She walks up to him and sits beside him. No words. They just watch the stars. Above them, galaxies turn. And in her voice, soft and full of strength, she whispers, You saved me. Not with guns, not with orders, just by being human. Cole chuckles. Well, humanity doesn't always get it right, she grins. But when it does, they sit together as the stars blink gently overhead. And in that moment, across space, across time, one small truth echoed louder than any warship or weapon. Humanity, for the win.